Did the NBA take it too far with the suspension?
Yes, they did. And I can't believe this. 2023, right? The year we're in?
Yeah, so
and we're still dealing with this type of stuff. You know what? I want to put some more respect on Draymond Green and the Warriors. Let's do this for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
The Kareem and Magic era, right? Then came the Jordan era. Then it came Kobe and Shaq, right?
Sure.
LeBron James.
Of course.
And then this little team in the Bay kept that thing alive. They kept the NBA alive. Steph Curry and the way they play basketball, all the threes. We never see so many threes, never. They changed the game of basketball.
What's that have to do with the suspension?
I'm getting there. The part of disrespect. Like, the guy has his ankle. Sabonis has his ankle, right? Draymond steps on him. But to suspend Draymond in the playoff game, it shows the disrespect to the Warriors. They've been carrying the NBA for years, man. And for them to get the respect like that is terrible. So, yes, I'm disappointed in the NBA. I'm disappointed to be a fan of the NBA. You can't suspend players like that, especially with a team like the Warriors. And then if there wasn't Sabonis grabbing on ankle, because anything could happen. Real quick. If Draymond Green would have tore something in his foot, his ankle, his knee, something, we would be looking at this whole differently.
You're right.
But nobody wants to talk about that.
You're right.
And I'm going to say this right here, Slick, because you're looking at me. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed to be a part of the NBA. I'm disappointed to have to go up here on Fox and talk about the NBA. I'm disappointed.
So he's disappointed. Slick, where do you stand?
I'm disappointed with you. 100%.
Smart man. Toast.
Harmony.
He toast. Is anything in that cup? Is anything in that
Don't leave
cup?
him hanging. He's trying to toast you, Slick.
Bang.
God, dog.
I'm working here. Besides, you said I was late.
Why are you disappointed, Slick?
Look, the league has essentially handed this series to the Sacramento Kings. Now, when I look at that incident and I look at everything involved in it with the role that Domantas Sabonis played in it, can I justify that this series should be over as a result of that play? They already conceded game 2 because of that by kicking Draymond Green out. But to add another game, understanding what Draymond Green means, if nobody should be happy with this, including the Sacramento Kings, because this is a lot like 2016. We always question, well, did the Cleveland Cavaliers actually come back from 3-1 because Draymond Green was suspended for Game 5? If I'm the Sacramento Kings and I think I'm better than the Golden State Warriors, then I don't want anything that's going to put an asterisk on it. And this certainly does.
I need a quick 20-second timeout because, Slick, the game, as we all know, Joy knows it, Dave knows it, we all know it, the game's not just physical. The game is mental. Sacramento Kings head coach is Mike Brown, who knows Draymond Green all too well.
Sure.
If Draymond Green, a part of his game is to get under the skin of opponents, if a part of Draymond Green's game is to get opponents out of their game, then the Sacramento Kings quite literally got Draymond Green out of the game. So I think the Sacramento Kings are not only beating the Warriors physically, and I'm a Warriors fan, I think they're currently beating the Warriors mentally, which is the worst way to beat them down. I think the Kings should be ecstatic. I will get to how I feel about the punishment shortly, though.
So then you are saying that this wasn't Draymond Green doing something. This was something the Sacramento Kings did to Draymond Green that got him to react.
Agree, yes.
You think that's fair? You think that's right?
Joy, what you say about fair?
Well, there's nothing that's fair, but I would argue that this isn't mental. Sabonis didn't mentally do something to get a technical. He physically grabbed Draymond's ankle.
I'm dirty.
And got a technical. Keep in mind...
Way to pick me up, Joy.
Thank you. He was given a technical. The action warranted a technical foul by Sabonis. So he wasn't just laying there on the ground, and here comes Draymond doing some Kirk Franklin stomp on his chest. That's not what happens. We can see the video. We can show it again. We've seen it 100 times at this point. Sabonis grabbed his ankle, and Draymond stepped on Sabonis. He didn't stomp on his neck. By the way, physically, just a sidebar, what exactly was Draymond physically supposed to do in this space? He was supposed to fall. As Shady said, what if Draymond got hurt? Sabonis did something egregious enough to warrant a technical foul, which is just being erased in this situation. So if you're going to suspend Draymond, what is the punishment for Sabonis, who instigated, not mentally, not by sending him little weird vibes, by physically grabbing Draymond? So my issue with the suspension is, I don't have so much of an issue with them throwing him out the game, which I didn't think they should have done in the first place, but I'm not going to freak out about that. But to suspend him for an entire game in the playoffs would have had to do something so egregious that it physically harmed him to a point where he didn't play anymore, and it would have had to have happened completely unsolicited, which it wasn't, because it was so egregious that they issued him a technical foul.
Right. I think what Draymond did was egregious. I, too, think what Sabonis did was egregious, but here's my thing. First reason, I'm not going to pity Draymond Green because I believe Draymond Green is paying the stupid tax. There is a tax you pay for stupidity. And if you are dumb enough to, in 4K, in national television, step on an individual and allow the individual the opportunity to act and excessively act, to me, that's dumb. I won't pity Draymond Green for it, although I don't think Draymond Green was fully in the wrong. I think Sabonis was in the wrong. But also, though, Dave Helman, it's like, as a kid, they teach you it's not the first guy, it's the second guy. As a kid, coaches tell you, Shady, you know this, you and I played ball together in the Eagles, but I learned this even in high school. Hey, don't retaliate to their cheap shots. Don't retaliate to their cheap shots. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. They're going to take shots. Don't retaliate. So I just can't pity it because we've all been coached it.
And that's true. And that's why yesterday I got up here and said I thought Draymond Green was more in the wrong in this situation. Plenty of fault to go around, but I put more of it on Draymond. Just second guy gets caught. How do you respond? Is jumping on a guy's chest? I would argue he could fall. He could put his foot somewhere else. There are other things he could have done. But the thing that drives me crazy, and by the way, before Shady gets mad, I'm anti-suspension because this had a tidy finish. Like, all of that stuff can be true. Sabonis was assessed a tech. Draymond got kicked out of the game. And by the way, because this has taken on a bigger life than the series, it's easy to think that it happened like at the tail end of this game. No, it happened with 7 minutes to play in a 4-point game. Like, it was an ejection that swung a road game for the Warriors that put them in a 2-0 hole. Is that not penalty enough? I don't see anything that happened and say this needs to roll over into a new game. He gets thrown out. The Warriors lose. They're facing a bigger challenge than they've ever faced in this era. Is that not enough? That feels like plenty of a punishment to me.
That's exactly it. You're saying he needs to pay the stupid tax. He paid the stupid tax.
He left the game.
He cost them game 2. That game was in the balance, and they ended up losing. And Domantas Sabonis looked perfectly fine playing the last 7 minutes. So this compromises not only this series, this compromises the entire Western Conference run. Because even if the Warriors end up winning game 3, they do so, it's extending the series potentially somehow, some way, or it knocks them out. It changes the way everything happens and the way we look at everything. And it just comes down to, is this a fair adjudication of what transpired? This is arguably the harshest penalty that's ever been handed out in NBA playoff history.
Slick. Don't be. I won't even.
It's costing you 2 games.
I won't entertain that.
It's costing.
Here's my thing.
Name another one.
You've been a ref, I believe.
Yes.
You've been a ref. You've been a coach. Been a ref. Been a coach. Or a parent.
Yep.
We got a couple parents on this show. What I know about being punished, because I was a lot, is you punish to deter future action. You punish to deter future action. If y'all recall, literally a year ago this time, Draymond Green, he gets fined, I think, $30,000 for flipping off the double birds Memphis Grizzlies after getting ejected. What did Draymond Green say at the podium? He said, I make $25 million a year. I'll be all right. You're not deterring Draymond Green from future action by fining him. What did Draymond Green do even as he was getting ejected or as the refs were trying to figure out what to do with Draymond Green during the game? He was scoffing in the face of the fans with Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, present. Okay. So my thought is, if you are trying to deter someone from future action, then you have to inflict a punishment enough to deter them. Slick, if my parents tried to ground me, okay, I wasn't going out no way. Oh, want to take my phone? That's cool. I wasn't going to use it no way. You punish someone to deter them from future action. I've said this before, Joy, I'll say it again. If you threaten me with a parking ticket, LA County signs, I'm not tripping. I'm still parking there. Because the $45 ticket's only $25 more than the valet. You threaten me with towing my car, I'm parking elsewhere. So to me, they suspended Draymond, Shady, to deter him from future action, not just because of all the other stuff.
I guess you're saying that it's how big the punishment is.
Correct.
But they lost a game from the punishment by kicking him out the game when something he didn't even start. So I hear what you're saying, but he really got punished. They lost game 2 because of kicking Draymond Green out the game.
Do you think Draymond Green cares about that?
About losing a game?
About losing.
Do you think Draymond Green? Well, honestly, yes, because Draymond Green has said before he does not care.
He cared about losing his game.
I think that
champion.
I think Draymond, I think Kerr, I think President Myers, I think Curry, I think Clay, Joy, I think their level of care increased significantly with the suspension.
But what happened to warrant the suspension is the question. He was kicked out of the game with a significant amount of game left to play. It influenced the outcome of the game, and this was not an unprompted action.
Sure.
My issue with us saying that the second guy gets it, we know that applies to high school. We know that applies. No, it doesn't. Because in professional sports, particularly this professional sport, you have a replay. So you can go back and see, did he just walk up to him while he was laying on the ground and step on his chest? Or did he pull on his leg, causing him to have to choose where to step? And he chose to step on him, as opposed to falling or whatever else. Again, the initial action by Domantas Sabonis could have caused an injury. It didn't, but it could have, and it was intended to physically keep him from walking.
Correct.
Which is a technical foul, which they gave to him. Then Draymond reacted to not a word, not a little bump, not something that didn't warrant a technical foul. He reacted to a physical action that prompted a technical foul.
But Joy,
so in order to suspend someone, it has to be something that is so egregious that you would want them to be terrified of ever doing this.
Yes.
What did he do? He did something that got him kicked out of the game, and it was what was the causation of the action? That needs to be considered. And when you have the ability to replay something, we have the video, we watched it live, we have it on the internet, the commissioner is able to sit there and evaluate it. How can you possibly come to the conclusion that an entire game suspension could be given to Draymond Green based off of something that someone else who got a technical also instigated?
I think the reason all of that sounds good, but
it sounds great because it's right.
The reason to me it's just not applicable, and maybe I spent too much time in locker rooms, is the athlete is not taught to put the onus on the opponent. It does not matter what the opponent does. It does not matter what the opponent did to Draymond. It does not matter what the linebacker does to Shady. It does not matter what the offensive lineman does to me. It does not matter what the opponent does to you. You as an athlete are culpable for what you as an athlete do. Point blank, period.
But that's for coaches.
Yeah, that's for players.
And players.
That's for players. That's not for the commissioner.
That's what I'm saying.
The commissioner has to be able to rise above all of that locker room
because he's not a player.
Control, all that. He has to be able to see it from the league perspective and evaluate not what's fair, because fair isn't real, but what's reasonable. And this was not an unsolicited action.
I don't think it's an unreasonable punishment. But Dave, final.
I hear everything you're saying, but the way that you're saying it makes it sound like he wasn't punished and had consequences for what happened. He was thrown out of the game and the Warriors lost the game. That feels perfectly reasonable for what I saw. Maybe we disagree, but I would be with you if nothing had happened, but it did. He didn't finish that game.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.